again and welcome back to Chef Mel's Kitchen. So today we're going to be making a sweet dish. We're going to be making a cheesecake, a vanilla cheesecake. Now there are two main types of cheesecake. That is a set cheesecake or a baked cheesecake. Today we're going to be making a set one. A baked cheesecake is also known as a New York style cheesecake, which is, as the name sort of entails, is baked on a very low heat for quite a long time in the oven, and I find is a little bit more tricky to make than a set cheesecake, and I do prefer the texture of a set cheesecake as well. A set cheesecake will be setting in the fridge overnight. Sometimes you can use gelatin and things to help the setting, but I want to keep this vegetarian and you don't need gelatin really, so we'll be doing that variety. The New York cheesecake, I've been lucky enough to go to New York and have a New York style cheesecake, and it was delicious. But it is a different texture and I find trickier to make. So I'm going to show you this recipe. What's really great about this recipe, this is a vanilla cheesecake, but this recipe is really adaptable. So, you know, once you've got the basics of it, you can then alter it with whatever flavours you want. So if you want to make a lemon cheesecake, you know, add lemon. You want to make a strawberry cheesecake, you know, stew some strawberries and put that on top. It's very adaptable, this recipe, and really easy. And not many ingredients, so I'll just go through that. So to start off with the cheesecake base, you will need 250 grams of Digestive Biscuits, which is roughly about 2/3 of that pack there. You will then need 100 grams of butter, or this is obviously margarine. Butter or margarine is fine, either or. So that's 100 grams of that, and that's all you need for the base. Now for the topping, for the main part of the cheesecake, you'll need, obviously the main ingredient, the cream cheese. You'll need 400 grams of cream cheese. You'll need 200 millilitres of double cream. You will need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. That's extract and not essence. Essence is cheaper and is like an artificial flavouring. Extract is only a little bit more expensive, like 50p more expensive, but it's actually properly from vanilla and it's a lot nicer. So I recommend that if you can spare the 50p. And also, this is a bit of a cheap thing, but it's I usually have this in the cupboard because I like to have my vanilla lattes. But it's 3 tablespoons of vanilla syrup, which is normally used in coffees and things. Then you will need, so that's vanilla. Oh, and then 100 grams of icing sugar. So you first need to start with the base, and you're going to turn the biscuits into a fine crumb. This is much easier in a food processor. I have my little Moulinex, which I think is supposed to be designed for spices really, so I'll have to do these biscuits up in batches. But yeah, there'll be a bit of noise now. Noisy. And then I'll make sure it's all fine crumb, but basically do that until it's fine crumb in batches if you're using a small. If you don't have any form of like food processor, what you can do is you put all the biscuits into sort of a ziplock bag and just bash it to death with a rolling pin until it becomes fine crumb. So you don't need a posh food processor, but this sort of makes it a little bit quicker. So here I've got 100 grams of margarine, and I'm simply just going to put this on a heat and melt it. Once it's melted, I'll add it to the breadcrumb biscuit mixture and stir it in. So I've mixed my melted butter into my biscuits, and I've also quite generously greased with a bit more margarine, I think it's a 24 centimetre loose bottom tin, which means if you can see that, the bottom lifts up, that's useful for later when we're getting the cheesecake out. So what you need to do is, I'll see if I can actually just probably put it all in like that. Yes, I can. Cool. This is quite a base heavy cheesecake, but each to their own preference. I quite like quite a lot of crumb on mine, but that's just me. And what we're going to do, you can see also that I've greased the sides as well, so that it'll come out as well. So what we're going to do is, with the spoon, we're going to put that out like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's even, and I'll probably get my fingers and just to make sure that it's all come to all the edges. And I want to make sure that this base is completely flat and even, and also because this is a fluted tin, that it's gone into all the edges as well. which will be easier once I've got 2 hands free. But I'm going to do that, and then once I've actually pressed it all down and I've made sure it's flat, I press it down really firmly with my hand. It needs to be really nice and firmly pressed down. And then I'll put that in the fridge for at least half an hour before I put the topping on. So now I've put the cream cheese into a bowl, and I'm going to add the 100 grams of icing sugar. There'll be a bit of a cloud. Ah! Wee, fun. And the vanilla extract. Waste a drop. And the syrup. So basically everything except the double cream, which we're going to add later. This is all easier if you've got a mixer, but I don't, so I'm going to use a good old-fashioned elbow grease. So you're going to start mixing that together until it's completely smooth, until all those ingredients are combined. Nigella Lawson, whose cheesecake and pavlova recipes are all fantastic, she always says to make a really nice smooth cheesecake, always add the cream cheese in at room temperature. Don't make it with like fridge cold cream cheese. And as far as I'm concerned, if Goddess Nigella tells me to do it, I do it. So mix that together until it's completely combined. Right, so now I'm going to add my double cream. So that's 200 ml. Make sure I've got all of that cream, so waste not, want not. And at this point, I'm going to swap to using my electric whisk. Now, even on the lowest setting, this electric whisk is a little bit furious, so we'll see as this goes everywhere. There we go. So you need to blend this. I'll stop for a second. You need to blend this until it's really well combined and it's got a nice thick set. So I want it to be a little less liquidy than that. So whisk it for about 2 minutes, I would say. So I've whisked it now to the point where it's at sort of what we call soft peak stage in baking. And just before I deem it ready, I'm just going to double check its sweetness, check it's vanilla-y enough and check its sweetness. So, that's really good. Okay, so that's ready to go on my base now. We're simply going to cover the base with that vanilla topping. And I won't show you all of this because it will take me ages, but basically you spoon it all on and then you smooth it, making sure that when you're finished it all goes all the way to the edges. Can you see that? I'll just pause so I can actually pick it up and do it, and then I'll show you the full thing. So that's as roughly smooth as my patience will allow. And now this thing of beauty is going to be going into the fridge. And that needs to set for at least 4 hours, or I like to play it safe and set it overnight. So tomorrow morning we will see the beautiful results of that. So it's the morning, moment of truth. Let's get this cheesecake. Ooh. So it's definitely set. Excellent. And I'm going to put this onto a bowl so that I can remove it. And usually I need to coax it from the sides. If it's non-fluted, it should come. Oh, actually, it's coming. It's a-coming. Oh, how exciting. I like this bit. This bit is the kind of scary bit, actually. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. So just carefully ease it away. I should probably be doing this with 2 hands, but never mind. Oh my God. Oh, no. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Oh my God, yay. Okay, isn't that beautiful? So you can see, actually it looked quite base heavy when I was putting it in, but that looks quite a good ratio actually. So I'm going to, so obviously this is gone now, but it's still got the metal plate underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a palette knife or a very sort of thin knife along the base of this so that I can get it off the metal plate and get it onto a presentation plate. So I've cut the cheesecake into 8 even slices and I've just put them on a plate, and I'm just going to garnish it. I'm just going to add a finishing touch. And you can, this is where you can sort of customise it if you want, but I'm going to keep it really simple. I've just got, just choose the nicest ones. I've just got some blackberries from my garden, and some mint from my garden as well. Nice. Just finish that off. A teensy little fiddly. There we go. So really simple, but just really elegant. That's a vanilla cheesecake.